What's going on, everybody? Brian here from Brian's Broadcast. I hope all of you are doing fantastic. Today, we're going to talk about Cedrat Boise Intense, or Intense Cedrat Boise, from the house of Mancera. And you may have noticed or watched a number of reviews out there, but of course, I needed to put my own words out there so that my viewers will get the information from me. So, without much delay, let's get down to business. I'm not gonna bore you with too many of that presentation stuff. So here goes. It's your regular Cedrat Boise Mancera presentation. Sorry about the dust. This package just catches on some dust. This is what it looks like. For the first time, if you're looking at it, this is what it looks like. And this is the batch code. So, this is like a 23, I'm safely assuming. That's a 2023 batch. And the pouch, of course, the Mancera fox leather or artificial leather pouch. This is like gray metallic. So that's about it. Not gonna bore you with all that information. And of course, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe because I do giveaways. You don't want to miss the chance. So first off, let me kick off things by reading out the notes to you from the official Mancera website. So on the top notes, you have Sicilian citrus fruits, hot spices, and blackcurrant. In the mids, you have patchouli leaves, leather notes, jasmine, Cambodian oud. Wow, I never knew this thing had oud. But anyways, and white sandalwood. On the base, you have amber gray amber, not ambergris, just in case you're wondering. White musk, vanilla pods, and wild oak moss. Now, of course, if you will remember, sometime back, several years ago, I purchased a bottle of the regular Cedrat Boise. So again, this is the Cedrat Boise Intense or Intense Cedrat Boise, whatever you call it. This is the one, and the regular one, if you will notice, there's a slight color difference. So the regular one, the Cedrat Boise, has a lighter color. It's a bit more pale, whereas this one is a bit more rich and deeper yellow, almost ambery kind of yellow. So yeah, and just in case if you're wondering, if you missed my first impression video, this one is a magnetic cap, not your screw-on cap. So that's a magnetic cap. Some people keep on saying how magnetic caps are not too potent and the screw-on caps are good. Let me just tell you something. I guess these niche brands, particularly Mancera, has a reputation for the batches. Basically, it's not always like when I purchased the screw-on cap, and I got very bad performance to the point where I actually returned a fragrance. That was the first time I actually sent back a fragrance saying, like, this is horrible. Like, even if it was like below $60 or $70, I really didn't care at that point because I'm not about to take on something that does not perform at all. Like, not even like 2 hours, 3 hours, not even like that. So I was that. So let's not get into details because the link is right here in the top. You can go ahead and check out my explanation why I returned it. So let's talk about this one. Some people say the screw-on cap is better. Some people say the magnetic one is better. But let me tell you something. If the batch is bad, there's nothing you can do. Like some people say screw-ons are like the vintage ones. No. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry to disappoint, but screw-on caps are not always vintage. I have a Mancera Red Tobacco, which was, I think, 2021 or 22 batch, and it's a screw-on cap. Like, I didn't buy it from like back in 98 or 2000s. No, I didn't do that. Like, just an example. Let's talk about Cedrat Boise Intense. The first time I sprayed this fragrance, this one kind of got me in the right mood. Now, let me tell you why. This is a much more fruitier version of Cedrat Boise. I still have a little sample of the regular one, but Intense Cedrat Boise is much more fruitier in the opening. It's not as sharp. It's much more smooth. It's a much more mature fragrance. Now, I'll tell you something up front. A lot of people compare this one with Aventus and stuff, but on my channel, I'm not gonna do any kind of comparison with Aventus or whatsoever. I'm gonna strictly talk about Intense Cedrat Boise. So the fruitiness is very smooth. It's deep. I felt it's much more mature. It's deep and has that very unique character. Like, unlike the Cedrat Boise, the intense Cedrat Boise, the fruitiness is a bit more on the sweeter side, and it's very, very juicy. Now, of course, they mention over here Sicilian citrus fruits, so it could be a combination of bergamot, Sicilian lemon, oranges, whatever, but the citrus is very, very well blended. And with the blackcurrant, you get that depth, you get that fruitiness, and that tad bit of sweetness, along with a tiny tad bit of tartiness. Now, further drying down, this fragrance has a wonderful feeling, and I'm going to tell you in a moment. A lot of people do not like the presence of oak moss. It kind of evokes like a nauseating feel for those people. I mean, I heard a lot of people talk about it in that manner. So the thing is, oak moss in this is way more toned down. So you're kind of like on the safe side with the intense Cedrat Boise, whereas on the regular one, the Cedrat Boise, the oak moss was pretty well pronounced, which I understand not a lot of people like it, and in that case, intense Cedrat Boise might be something you might be interested to try. Now, of course, over here, the patchouli and the leather notes, like I do not get patchouli and leather separately, but in fact, what my nose catches is like a combination of both. The patchouli over here, it's a bit more on the darker, earthy, but not dirty side. So it's more on the earthy side with the beautiful supple leather. Now the leather over here and the patchouli over here does not smell medicinal or super sharp. Rather, they combine, they work in conjunction to give you that wonderful supple leather feeling with a hint of earthiness. Now, of course, the florals, there's a presence of floral note over here, which is the jasmine, but I do not pick up any florals right away. Maybe it's working in a whole different way to tone down the patchouli or something, but it's not like jasmine. It's like more on a combination forefront. And about the oud, the presence of Cambodian oud and white sandalwood, I guess it's kind of creating that depth, like a woody nuance. If you have noticed in my first impression video where I did mention that when I sprayed it, I kind of get that woodiness. I guess this is where I get that woodiness. Now, of course, Cambodian oud is more on like a dry, woodier side as opposed to animalic or barnyard kind of feel. This is more like on the woody side, dry woodiness, which again, I believe the sandalwood is toning down. So if you know oud and sandalwood, they work in complement, like they complement each other, they tone down each other's effect in a fragrance, and that's where you get that beautiful, smooth, kind of like creaminess in this fragrance in Intense Cedrat Boise. Drying down, the fragrance has amber, gray amber, white musk, vanilla pods, and oak moss. Now, the oak moss, I told you, it never pronounces itself. It's not too well pronounced. It's there. You will feel it, but it's not like super nauseating or does not create that like a green, bitter kind of vibe in the back of your mouth. It's not like that. It's very toned down. It's very much like wearable. It's very much tolerable. The fragrance dries down into a nice, creamy, yet still the citrusy sweetness maintained. And at the same time, with the sandalwood, kind of has that beautiful creamy texture, which I absolutely loved. So this one I found to be more wearable. And like I said, I still have a tiny sample of the original Cedrat Boise. I did a side by side. I found this one to be more mature, more wearable. Now, in the sense, I'm saying mature in the sense that, like it's not as bright. Some people compare the regular Cedrat Boise as lemon pledge, if you may, but it's not like that. This one is very much nicer, fruitier, like it's not too pronounced on the smoky side, but at the same time, it's very wearable. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, performance wise, let me tell you something. This is what grabbed my attention. I was like, if the regular one is not performing, maybe in 2024 I got this one. So maybe the intense one is going to perform. And I was right. So this particular batch, let me quickly show you the batch again. This is a 2023 batch. It was a brand new box. brand new bottle, and it's not one of your tester units. That's a full retail box. This one performed really well. I could feel the depth. I could feel it opening up, like the fragrance developing over time. And projection was pretty loud. I would say 1.5 to 2 hours, it was very, very loud. So I went with like 8 to 10 sprays, and this thing was performing real solid. So far, I hear like the oil concentration. I don't remember the exact number, but the oil concentration is pretty high. Like if you spray it, you'll see the blotch of oil like remain right there for a very long time. So you know that like this is sticking to your skin for much longer. So of course it's not gonna project as much because the oil concentration is high, alcohol is low, carrying the scent in the air is like kind of like diminished, so it's more closer to you, but it's loud, it's pronounced. Now as the body heats up, this fragrance projects more. It tries to, like increase the aura of the fragrance. Your scent bubble just goes further out, right? And performance wise, I found this one, like again, I wore it for a couple of days, and I'm gonna let it sit for a while, of course. But I got on an average like 6 to 8 hours of solid performance, after which it kind of like tones down into a skin scent, which again is a beautiful fragrance, like on the sweet, creamy, tad bit like powdery, effervescent vibe, and at the same time, the sweet fruitiness just lingers all around, the real Mancera Cedrat Boise kind of smell that you expect. That's the kind of performance that I got, and like I said, 6 to 8 hours was solid, after which kind of like sits very close to your skin but keeps wafting out. That's the kind of performance I got from Intense Cedrat Boise from Mancera. Guys, do let me know in the comments if you found this fragrance to be more wearable. Which one did you like more, the Cedrat Boise or the Intense Cedrat Boise? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to read your experiences and respond to your comments like I always do. And please make sure you subscribe and hit the thumbs up button if you like contents like this. Keep supporting my channel like you always do. I really and humbly appreciate all your kind gestures. And remember, if you're not subscribed, you will be missing out on opportunities where I do giveaways, and I'm sure you don't want to miss that. So until the next one, guys, please take care, stay safe, and all the best.